Alright, this past weekend, Dak Prescott got a lot of flack for not performing up to statistical standards against the Green Bay Packers. And it got into this big, huge debate of, does he deserve X amount of money? Should the Cowboys pay him this money? Or should they just go after someone else, or just pay him less, or trade him and get someone else? I don't really buy into all that. I think that the Cowboys already have their own idea, as well as Dak Prescott, of how much money they want to give or get. But I am more looking not as to how much Dak should be paid, but more in what happened for Dak specifically against the Packers last weekend, and whether that should concern Cowboys fans, regular fans, or anyone. And you can take it as you want. You can take it as, oh, Dak Prescott should not be paid, or you should take it as, oh, he can learn and he can become really, really good. You can take it however you like. But I'm just putting it out there. And it's what I saw from going over the film and my big takeaways from it. Alright, so let's start off. Throughout this whole game, I found that it was probably going to be really difficult for Dak Prescott to do anything, because Green Bay was pressuring him like crazy with 4 defensive linemen. And as soon as that happens, it is difficult. It is difficult to do much. If your offensive line is giving up stuff to 4 defensive linemen just like that, then it's hard to make plays happen. It's hard to run, it's hard to throw, you get instant pressure, stuff like that. And this pressure wasn't even coming, like some of it was coming from brute strength. Some of it was fake blitzes that confused the offensive line. Some of it was just defensive linemen crossing around, confusing the offensive line. So that was one problem. Another problem is that they completely lost the running game, especially in the second half. In the second half, they only got 3 carries from Ezekiel Elliott for 4 yards. That is not good. It was a 4-yard run, a negative 2 yards, and then plus 2 yards. So 3 carries, 4 yards. I can literally show the clips right here of the plays that he ran. It's nothing much. And then Dak Prescott scrambled for 24 yards, which is kind of nice, keeps the defense on their toes. But again, the run game was not there, especially in the second half. And part of that is because they were down 17-zip going into halftime. So really time's not on your side, and you cannot afford to lose time by running the ball. Now, that's on the more Packers side, what helped the Packers, things that didn't go right. Now, if we're evaluating Dak Prescott, he did a lot of things right. He did a lot. He, most of the time, makes the right play, makes the right decision, passes to the right person, scrambles at the right time. He's very good on timed routes. I'll show a few right here. He has great throws when he takes his time, when there's a clean pocket. He's really, really good under those circumstances. He's great with quick throws, like slant throws, where he can just zip it right into the belly of a wide receiver or tight end. And when he has that clean pocket, when he has that time to make quick throws, or he has timed routes, it makes it a lot easier for him to process or digest the defense and what they're doing. However, there were 4 things that I noticed, and you can take it as worries or things that he can get better at, but I'm just putting it out there. The first thing is concept plays. Now, I noticed 2 of them, but there were probably more. But there are 2 that completely stood out to me. And they happened in the face of pressure, so it became more instinct. Not, oh, I can take my time here, like in practice, and go, okay, we have a curl flat concept, and I can say, oh, okay, he's packing off so I can take the flat. No, it's with pressure, so everything has to be instinct. That's being ingrained into your mind. The second problem that I found is the way that he took sacks, especially under pressure, the way he took sacks. He took a total of 3 sacks. I'm going to go through each one of them, as well as the concept plays. There were 2 of them that I found, probably more. The third thing that I found also was the way he throws in the pocket. I don't have a problem with it, but it's more with his footwork, and we'll get to that too. And the fourth thing is we're going to examine his 3 interceptions, as well as 1 interception that got nullified by a penalty. And eventually they got a touchdown off that drive, but we'll go over it. Alright, so the first thing, the concept plays. And these are under pressure. Keep that in mind. So like I said, it's all about instinct now. So the first one comes at 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second quarter. It goes down as an incompletion to Ezekiel Elliott. There's immediate pressure from TheGTruth Smith on the left end, down the A gap between the center and the offensive guard, where he just goes, where he's lined up on the outside, but he just goes around the offensive guard and just confuses the whole blocking. So he gets a straight beeline to Dak Prescott. Now, on the left side of Dak Prescott, of the whole offensive line too, it should be a quick read. It's a curl flat concept between Amari Cooper and Jason Witten. Cooper's on the outside, but between the numbers and the offensive lineman, Witten's a bit closer to the offensive lineman, kind of backed off a bit. Cooper's running a curl route, Witten's running a flat route. Pretty simple. And the way that it goes, and this is a pretty simple concept too, Cooper is pressed, he goes up, Jason Witten immediately wide open. You should see the clip right here, immediately wide open. And it should be an immediate throw to Jason Witten. It should be immediate. At this point, it should be ingrained in your mind. Even with all that pressure coming from TheGTruth Smith, you got to make that throw right away. And Dak Prescott's looking at the play. That's the concept that they're running. One of those is the hot route. Or the primary route, not hot route. Primary route. Primary receiver. But for whatever reason, Dak doesn't. I'm not sure if he doesn't know what they're doing, or if he's unsure of what the defense is going or doing, or if he just doesn't understand the concept fully. So that's a concern right there. Instead of throwing the ball to Jason Witten like he should, he instead rolls out away from TheGTruth Smith, and he just gets hit while throwing it into the dirt. So that's the main concern right there. He did not recognize the concept and did not deliver on it like he should have. The second concept was on the same drive, also resulted in an incompletion, but in this one he just threw the ball out of bounds, not to Ezekiel Elliott. And this happened with 50 seconds left in the second quarter. So right before halftime. This is on their drive to try to get a field goal, but they ended up missing, I believe it was a 54-yard field goal. I think it was a 54-yarder. Packers send a whole bunch of rushers. They send 6 rushers. And this one's also a pretty simple concept. So it's a simple drag route and a simple in route. Cooper's running the drag route. Blake Jarwin, another tight end, is running the in route, and it's a bit higher than the drag route, like the concept usually is. And at this point, you don't even have to understand the concept. You just have to look at the play. Again, it's going to be playing right here. Amari Cooper is wide open. It is crazy how open it is. Even if you don't understand the concept, you should just throw it to Amari Cooper. He is wide open. He can turn upfield, get some yards, get closer to the field goal, a line that the kicker can actually kick at instead of missing. And it's a clean pocket too at first until pressure gets there. So it should be fairly easy for Dak Prescott to recognize that it's a drag in route concept, or even that Amari Cooper's wide open. However, he doesn't throw it. Why? I don't know. Instead, he does the exact same as last play. He just rolls out and he throws it away. So those are two concerns right there. Easy concepts, easy throws. Doesn't do it. The second thing that I was talking about also were the sacks that he took under pressure. Now there were three. There was the first one came in the first quarter with 6 minutes and 9 seconds left. The second one came in the second quarter. The third one came in the third quarter. So it was one per quarter, excluding the fourth quarter. But I'm going to go over the first quarter one last because that goes over what I want to talk about for my third point. So for the second quarter, it happened with 9 minutes and 8 seconds left in that quarter. It was a sack for 3 yards. It was just incredible pressure coming from the 4 defensive linemen that the Packers had. And this one, I don't really fault Dak Prescott. I really don't have a problem with what happened here, except for maybe just dump it off to Ezekiel Elliott. Not really a big deal. 3 yards, not the end of the world. Now the one in the third quarter with 6 minutes and 43 seconds left, it was a sack for 9 yards, which is a bit more of a big deal. And in this one, he goes through progressions. He finds out nothing's good. Maybe the drag route he could take, but no. He wants to go for something bigger. And as the play progresses, eventually he gets, hit. But Witten loses his man. Hopefully I'll highlight him or draw a circle around him. But he loses his man. And I just think that at that point, he just waits too long. And he's trying to do all the right things. He's trying to. He has that pressure coming for him on the left side. Witten is wide open. And as soon as Dak starts rolling out, he should notice that Witten's wide open. And he should throw it. But he waits too long. He waits far too long to throw it. He doesn't even get into a wind-up. He kind of just points and is like, oh, okay. No. Jason Witten's looking right at you. You gotta, as soon as you start rolling out, you gotta throw in the run. Because he waits too long, he gets caught up and gets sacked. He had the right idea of rolling out, but you gotta throw that as soon as possible. That's a touchdown right there. Easy touchdown. Now for the third sack, with 6 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first quarter, it was a sack for 10 yards. And this one's more relevant to my next point. Packers press up on all the wide receivers, all the tight ends, all that. And they do a great job of it. They get good pressure on Dak Prescott. I'm pretty sure that it's 4 players rushing again. But it's not so much that of the pressure I'm worried about. It's more of what happens during it with Dak Prescott, which leads to my next point also. But I'm going to first cover this. He starts drifting sideways and backwards. First of all, he starts drifting sideways to the left side where the defender's coming from. And then he starts going backwards, which is not good at all because you're not seeing what's going on in the field. And even if you do throw, you're throwing off your back foot. So first of all, that's wrong. That's point A of what went wrong. So in that point, he should have just, instead of stepping to the left, he should have sidestepped to the right. But he shouldn't have sidestepped and started drifting backwards and then throw off his back foot. He should just do a little step to the right, kind of settle in. And if he lets that play develop for just a split second more, you can see that Jason Witten loses his man. His man literally falls down. And at that point, you can just float it right up to Jason Witten. And that's potentially a touchdown, maybe go down to the 5-yard line, something like that. It's a big play right there. And all that comes just from pocket presence and what I'm going to touch on even more, which is drifting. Dak Prescott drifts, not a lot, but when he does, it does cost some big plays. So there were 2 standout ones, so that was one of them with the sack. I have 2 others aside from that. two standout ones that happened in the first quarter and in the third quarter. And it is important to note that this does not happen often, but it is important that it does happen. The first one, with 7 minutes and 49 seconds left in the first quarter. It's a mostly clean pocket. He does a lot right on this play. He does a great fake to Amari Cooper as soon as he starts his route. The defender falls for it, and Cooper is home free. He is home free. He has tons of separation, and Dak Prescott does a great job of getting away from pressure, sidestepping. But just like before, when he sidesteps, he starts drifting backwards. And so when he throws, he has the right idea of throwing to Amari Cooper because he's wide open. It could be a touchdown. But as he sidesteps, he starts going backwards, and he starts falling backwards. And when he throws it, he ends up throwing off his back foot. And we all know in football, if you're a quarterback, if you throw off, even if you're not a quarterback, just from experience, when you throw off your back foot, you tend to underthrow it. You tend to underthrow it. And so when he underthrows it, that leads to Cooper having to come inside. Instead of staying on the outside near the sidelines, he has to come inside into the field. He has to slow down a bit. And when he slows down, he ends up catching it, which is good. It's accurate, but it's underthrown. He ends up catching it, but he ends up stumbling. And because he stumbles, he loses his speed. And he's already slowed down a bit. And he gets tackled from behind by his defender. If Dak Prescott simply just sidesteps, but steps into the throw, instead of sidestepping and going backwards, just goes into the throw. Stepping into it, he probably throws a lot better ball to Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper does not have to go in or stumble or slow down. It probably ends up leading Amari Cooper, and it ends up being a huge touchdown. It probably ends up being a huge momentum booster. And especially on that drive after him throwing the pick earlier, it's a big momentum booster, but instead becomes a punt on that drive. And I know that Dak Prescott is fully capable of making that throw correctly, like I said, because he did it with 7 minutes and 56 seconds left in the fourth quarter with a 53-yard touchdown to Amari Cooper. A touchdown. He could have had that right here too. He stepped into the throw. He let him. It was a good throw, and it was a touchdown. I know he's capable of it. It's just little things like this where he doesn't do it, and it adds up and it starts costing them in ways that you don't think of until you start reviewing it. And then the second situation that I found this was 10 seconds left in the third quarter with a 27-yard pass to Ezekiel Elliott. Now this one, it worked out okay. Couldn't really have gone better, but it definitely could have gone worse. On this play again, he drifts backwards and he throws off his back foot. It works out just fine. It falls right into Ezekiel Elliott's hand. But again, Zeke has to slow down for it, and it could have gone a lot worse if he underthrew it a bit more. Could have been intercepted or incompleted. So for the future, I would have liked him to step into it and float that pass just a second earlier as Zeke's rounding that route. That way he has a bit more of an acceleration, and it gives time for Dak to actually step into the throw. Lastly, now I'm going to talk about the 3 picks that he threw, and then the fourth one that almost happened but got nullified by a penalty. So I'm just going to go through it. Alright, so one of those 3 picks was the wide receiver's fault, and that was the first one, his first pick in the first quarter. 10 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first quarter. Barely into the game, opening drive for the Cowboys after the Packers had just punted. Interception, pass intended for Cooper. Amari Cooper does get some separation on it. Dak Prescott notices that, and he does everything right. He he averts his eyes, moves the safety away from the play, and Randall Cobb does a great job of also pulling that safety away from Amari Cooper. So it becomes a one-on-one matchup between Amari Cooper and his defender. And Dak does everything right. He steps into it. It's a good throw. Has some nice zip to it. Great velocity. Problem is, it's just a bit behind Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper gets his hands on it. And it literally just goes right through his hands. And it just falls into Jair Alexander's hands, lap, whatever you want to say, and it's an interception. The Cowboys were actually doing pretty good on that drive, their opening drive, and it loses all momentum that they had gathered, and it really sets them up for the rest of the game. So in this one, I'm not going to blame Dak Prescott, even though it was a bit behind. I'm going to kind of blame Amari, but not so much because it was a bit behind. So it's, as you're running full speed, it's kind of hard to contort your body in order to catch that. It was just unfortunate. Now I'm now talking about the fourth interception because I'm going to get to the other two interceptions that happened because those are just dumb. This fourth interception that almost happened was with 14 minutes and 3 seconds left in the fourth quarter, just before the actual third interception. It was nullified by a penalty, but it could have also been a touchdown for the Cowboys. Eventually they did get a touchdown on that drive, I'm pretty sure. But it's important to look at this because if it wasn't nullified by the penalty, and that's a fourth pick, which is obviously not good at all. Same thing happens as I was talking about earlier. He starts drifting backwards, and he just throws it. But this time, instead of underthrowing it, he ends up overthrowing it just by a bit. He leaves it high. He kind of floats it. He leaves it high for the defender and wide receiver to kind of fight for it. Ends up getting tipped by the defender, and it falls into the lap of another defender for an interception. This one's more of Dak's fault, especially since he throws off his back foot again, and he doesn't place the ball where he should at all. He ends up throwing it high. This is for who is it? Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb's not going to go up and get it, wide receiver. This is QB placement, knowing your wide receiver. He should have zipped it more to the inside, allow Cobb to have a real chance at it rather than throwing it up high into more of the defender's side. He should have thrown it to more of Cobb's side and low so that no one can get it. Only Randall Cobb can get it. That way it's safe from any interception. But nothing bad happened since it was nullified by a penalty, but just for future reference, not great. Now, the second and third interception that happened were just plain stupid. Excuse my language, but okay, that's not a curse word at all, but these interceptions were dumb. They were just bad. So the second interception happened with 12 minutes and 47 seconds left in the second quarter. It was intended for Randall Cobb once again, but this is just dumb. I don't really get what Dak Prescott's kind of trying to go for here, and I think he just doesn't see the defender that's just sitting there, who's really just guarding the flat route of Zeke, but he's just sitting there, and I don't think Dak sees him, and he sees, oh, Randall Cobb is heading that way, I'm going to throw it across my body. But that's just not smart. You learn as soon as you start playing football, don't throw it across your body. It goes breaking. People break that rule sometimes, but this is not one of the rules. This is not one of the times you break it. Even if the defender is not there, this is still inexcusable. Because there's no way that this is a complete pass. There's no way. Now, the time to throw the ball was not when he got out of the pocket and then we're like, oh, you're all over there. Let me throw it. No, it's when Randall Cobb and Amari Cooper cross, and the defender's over here, so he's blinded for just a minute, and that's when you throw it. That's when you throw that slinger right at Randall Cobb. Because then you probably get a first down. And it's safe. No pick. Overall, that play was just really not smart on Dak Prescott's side. The third and final interception happened with 10 minutes and 29 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Kind of really started to end things for the Cowboys. Now, this pass was intended for Gallup. However, literally everything with this throw went wrong. I really don't. I mean, I really don't know what Dak Prescott was trying to do. I really don't. Maybe he thought Gallup would stop after getting into a bit of a tussle with the defensive back, turn around, and he could throw it to him. Maybe it was an option route where he could, curl or go to the outside or go in, and he was just guessing based off the way that Gallup stopped that he was gonna either curl or go to the outside. Maybe it's one of those, or maybe he was just throwing it there hoping for a pass interference or some sort of penalty. Either way, that throw is unforgivable. It is horrendous. It's a horrible idea. There's 3 defenders right there. I mean, like, why are you throwing that pass when you have Randall Cobb on an in route, prancing in the middle of the field, going across the field, wide open? Don't risk it. Don't put yourself in harm's way. Take what's there. Take what's wide open and take the easy yards unless you have a better idea. In this case, you did not have a better idea. So all in all, putting all that together, the concepts that Dak Prescott missed out on, the curl flat, the drag in, the drag route and in route concept, the 3 sacks that he took, one of which I'm fine with, the pocket throws where he ends up throwing off his back foot or starts leaning backwards, and then the 3 picks as well as the 1 near pick. Putting it all together, in my opinion, it is worrisome. Just slightly. The concepts should be instinct. So that tells me that he doesn't understand them. He doesn't understand the concepts, or he just hasn't gotten accustomed to it, which is worrisome. Because as a quarterback in his, I think, 4th year now, I'm going to have to fact check that. Maybe 4th year. This should be ingrained. You should know this. It should be easy. For the sacks and for some of the picks, for the dumb picks, the one where he just throws it and I have no idea what he's doing. It seems like he's a step behind. For the picks, it just seems like he's a step behind. And he's not looking at where the receiver is, and he's kind of just going through the motions. You cannot do that. In the pocket, when he's throwing off his back foot, it's not a huge deal. It isn't. It can be easily fixed. All you have to do is just step up, take the hit, and throw it. But if it continues, even though it's fixable, it can wipe away potentially big plays. In the end, I get it. He's not Drew Brees, he's not Patrick Mahomes, he's not Tom Brady, he's not Russell Wilson, he's not the top of the top, he's not the elite of the elite. And overall, he usually makes the right play. He usually does. He is smart, but he just wasn't smart that day. And it wasn't like the Cowboys were confusing him or anything like that. He just wasn't playing up to the normal level that he usually could. And like I said, he usually plays most of the time really correctly. Usually makes the right decision, makes the right play. But when he doesn't, like in this game, when he throws off his back foot, doesn't know, just throws it up there for the wide receiver, and it's ill-advised. When seems a step behind, when he's rolling out and there's a wide open Jason Witten in the end zone, and he gets sacked, and he's not even in a throwing motion yet to throw the ball out to Jason Witten. When he starts playing like that, rather than the usual correctness and preciseness that he plays with. It goes really, really, really bad. And it can cost them games that really, really matter. Just like this one against the Packers. Because that game, that loss against the Packers, is more than just a loss on the standing sheet. It showed the world. It showed the sports media community, showed all the NFL teams whether or not Dallas is real. So if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm okay for now. But I am slightly concerned.